In this lecture, we will talk about defining a function. In this lecture, you will learn to write functions, which are named blocks of code that are designed to do one specific job. So when you want to perform a particular task that you have defined in a function, you can call the name of the function responsible for it. If you need to perform that task multiple times throughout your program, you don't need to type all the code for the same task again and again. You just call the function dedicated to handling that task, and the code tells Python to run the code inside the function. For example, here we will define a simple function. A simple function named greetUser that prints a greeting. So we use def is the key word for defining a function. And greetUser parentheses, greetUser is the function name. We use parentheses here, but with no argument or parameter inside, because this function does not need other information to do this job. So leave empty, just empty parentheses. And here is the triple double quotes. Inside the triple double quotes is the Docker string called Docker string of a function. This is the description of this function and also the document of this function. Tell the information what this function's purpose. Then inside the function, here also has an indentation for backspace. Indentation same as for loop, while loop, if statement. So in Python, all use the indentation is for backspace. And in the Spider, will automatically, if you press return after def greetUser, will automatically will have indentation. And inside the function, there is only one statement called print hello. So just a message hello is printed out. Though this is the simplest function. This is the simplest function, only one statement, only one print statement, and without any information needed to do the function, to call the function. So here is the call function. We just write the function name and empty parentheses, because we have said that no information needed to call this function, to just greetUser parentheses, and the hello will be printed out each time you call this function. So this is the key elements of defining a function. Keyword def to inform Python that you are defining a function. And the name of the function here is greetUser. The parentheses are empty here means no more information needed. And a comment called Docker string enclosed in triple quotes, which describes what the function does. The Docker strings are enclosed in triple quotes. And greetUsers to call the function. So the function greetUser can not only tell the user hello, but also greet them by name. For the function to do this, you enter username in the parentheses of the function's definition at div greetUser. So by adding username here, you allow the function to accept any value of username you specify. So we change the function like this. So div greetUser, but here we write a parameter or say the argument called username. This is a variable name we have to put here to give information to the function. So when the function is running, need this information. So here is the same for the doc string for the description of the function. Then next we print hello will and concatenate with the username, the value. So here the username is the username's value. For example, any username. And this value is title So this also is a very simple function. with only one parameter called username needed when the function is being called. And next, we call this function greet user and input. Here, we input a value of the username. This value is Jesse. So when the function is running, the username's value is assigned with Jesse. Then here print hello Jesse, Jesse's title form. So hello Jesse. The variable username in the definition of greet user is an example of a parameter, a piece of information the function needs to do its job. And the value Jesse in greet user Jesse is an example of an argument. An argument is a piece of information that is passed from a function called a function. So when we call a function, we place the value we want the function to work with in parentheses. In this case, the argument Jesse was passed to the function greet user, and the value was stored in the parameter username. But note that people sometimes speak of arguments and parameters interchangeably. In our lectures, we will also use arguments and parameters interchangeably. We will show these statements in Anaconda Spider. So we see this function, this Python file called section 7 functions py, section 7 functions py, and the file can be checked on GitHub with the link has been added in the description of this video. So section 7 functions, and here is the lecture 1, defining a function. So defining a simple function, it div a greet user, but with no information needed at this time. So this function only print hello out when you call this function. We first run this code to define this function. The function is defined. Then we call this function greet user. Run. Then hello is printed out. So next we will pass information called username to this function. To define this function again, we'll define a little more complicated, but can be practical because people want a username to be displayed in message. So here username is inside the parentheses after the function's name. Function name is the same, called greet user. The doc string here, triple quotes are the same. Then we print hello username dot title. Yeah, so the function is defined. We run this. Then we call this function, and when it's calling function, the Jesse is a value put inside the parentheses because this function needs a username's information. But Jesse is put in quotes, a single quotes or double quotes are okay. So put in quotes because this is a name string value. So put in the quotes, then inside the parentheses, which means we call this function and the functions, this variable needed information for the variable for the username, we assign Jesse for this username's value. So this value will be used inside the function when function is being called. We run this. Then to issue hello Jesse,